let's talk a little bit about Arsenal, okay? Now, I have to preface, I didn't watch this full game, so I'm mainly going to speak about what this means for the Premier League. But I did watch the last few minutes of this game, and it was very interesting to me just seeing some of the developments here, okay? Now let's take a look at the lineup they put out, rotated lineup, and we can kind of talk about this for Arsenal because it shows their depth like I was saying in previous videos. Like having depth is a hallmark of a Champions League or Premier League winning team, right? Or if you want to win two titles or three or four, like if you want to win multiple titles, you have to rotate. But the rotation options still have to be good. And what's interesting here is I saw Eze get hooked at halftime. And this is interesting to me because they spent a lot of money on him. And it feels like he hasn't impacted, the game or really Arsenal season at all. Um, I think he scored that hat trick against Spurs. It might have been, or he scored a hat trick against someone. But after that game, it's been kind of radio silent. If I'm being honest. Now at the end of the day, I think most teams would love to have Eze as a backup option, even if he's not performing. It's like that's a still a supreme talent, and Madueke backup for Saka, still scoring. I really think Madueke has a lot of potential. He reminds me of like a Dembele type, like a Doku type. Dembele might be a stretch, but like when he has the ball, he can do something with it. And even though it's not always consistent, if you can get something positive out of him, your your team's set up for success. And it's really hard to stop players like Madueke when they're on. So good for him to get a goal. But yeah, I also think Brentford was always going to be a tough matchup, right? They've been really good. They won away at St. James, I think last week or so. So it's like they've been really good this season. They're seventh in the league, and they're really honestly fighting for a Champions League spot because it's going to be the top five for England. And Chelsea are what 44 points, Brentford 40. It's doable. They're chasing something bigger. They're definitely going to be in European football next year. I'm pretty sure of it. The way this team's been playing, obviously Igor Thiago's been on fire. I think he's the second or third, top scorer in the league. All that being said, this this is so encouraging for Manchester City. Okay, Manchester City, and I don't know if you guys have seen some of the Pep interviews, but they've been like saying, Pep's like saying, "No, I'm not gonna check on the Arsenal game until it gets within 3 points. If it's not 3 points, I'm not checking it." Well, it's not 3 points right now, but it is 4 points. And prior to that, it was 6 points. So now, if you're Manchester City, you're feeling a lot more confident. And really, Arsenal, it wasn't like a must win. It wasn't a must win because you still have a lead, but now you're in a title race. Like you're deep in the title race, and that loss to Villa, that just reminded me of that loss to Villa where if they had won that game at Villa Park, we're in a totally different situation right now if they had won that game. But man, now you're in a title race, 4 points, and I'm looking at Arsenal's next fixtures. Let's pull this up. In the Premier League, Wolves, easy one, right? Well, everybody eats against Wolves. This is just how it works, okay? But yeah, let me zoom this in a bit. Spurs, North London Derby, yeah, Arsenal should be winning that, but anything can happen. And Spurs obviously just sacked Thomas Frank, which I haven't given my opinion on that, but I think kind of valid. But then it just kind of puts you in instability, and it's like, do you want to be that? He did get you UCL knockouts, but obviously that UCL schedule for Spurs was very easy. So we'll see what happens, depending on who they get, but new manager bounce. Sometimes do I think that's real? I don't really think so, but you never know, right? So look, new manager bounce, they get what's his face, Ryan Mason or something, like a caretaker manager who can just kind of galvanize the squad for a game and you can get a result, if they drop points here, which they so very much could. City's gonna be, right there. City's gonna be right there. It'll be 1 point or something, right? But then after that, you have Chelsea, and this game definitely 6 pointer. The way their last games against Chelsea 1-0, and I think they won. It was 2-3-2 in the first leg of that Carabao Cup semi. Look, Chelsea could take points there. That's gonna be a tough game, you know. And then Brighton haven't been as great this year, but still, like, going to Brighton might be tough. It's like, can you be consistent until you get to this major fixture on April 18th? You got your Bournemouths, you got your Evertons, and it's like you got to win those games, and then boom, at the Etihad, that might be that might be the game which decides who leads the league afterwards. And let's say Arsenal win this game, but then you got to get Newcastle. And granted, Newcastle aren't particularly, as good on the road as they are at St. James, but that's still a tough game. You can't drop points here. Even if you beat City or you just get a result at City, you can't drop points here, because I just imagine City are gonna be so consistent. Now, with that being said, we got to check out, City's schedule because that might be a little bit tougher than Arsenal's. Obviously, Newcastle, tough game. And then you're up against the bottom of the league teams for the most part, and you expect them to win all those games. Then obviously they also have to go against Chelsea, and they got to go to Stamford Bridge. That's another 6 pointer. So, but like these are things where you trust City more than you trust Arsenal just because of the history, right? Last 3 seasons, when it came down to crunch time, Arsenal bottled it. They crumbled under the pressure, like a cookie. And you're looking at, City's schedule, and it's looking really favorable. You know what I mean? They already got mollywopped by United, so they don't gotta worry about that, and they don't have to face Spurs again or anything like that. But in Villa on the last match day, but who knows? The title could be wrapped up by then. Who knows? But again, even if the title comes down to the last day, and I know I'm bringing up a lot of hypotheticals, but really, I could see the league playing out like this because Arsenal didn't win today. These are going to be, games you expect City to win. Brentford, you tough team, you don't expect them to win at the Etihad. You know what I mean? Bournemouth, tough game, but City have been there before. It's in their DNA. I don't know, man. I just trust City right now. I really do. I trust Pep. So Arsenal have really got to, batten down the hatches and get their ish together. You know, I can understand dropping points to Brentford, but after that, you really gotta lock in. And you'd imagine, Brentford is probably a tougher game than Tottenham, but then again, you never know. Like I don't know. Do you guys trust Arsenal? Because I don't. I don't. Like now, I'm feeling nervous if I'm an Arsenal fan. It is only, it is only 4 points here. It's only 4 points. City could do it. City could scam again, and I don't know. And then you bring in Champions League. That might play into it. Let's take the worst case scenario, right? Arsenal get Dortmund, probably the toughest team here, or Leverkusen. They've both been in form, but Dortmund has been in better form than Leverkusen. So let's say Arsenal get Dortmund, right? That's tough tie to have for your round of 16. And let's say City get Madrid, really tough tie. Even though I don't consider Madrid to be like an elite team, still have elite players. And obviously, City already went to the Bernabeu and already, got their result there. But, you know, this is UCL knockouts now. It's a different ball game. So, yeah, like imagine if you get those round of 16 draws and then you also have to compete in the Prem. It's gonna be like who falters first. It's a battle of attrition. But then you look at the history. Which club is more used to doing that battle, to fighting on two fronts? And it's obviously Manchester City. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm feeling like so nervous for Arsenal because you know you got to be able to overcome it eventually. But like that doesn't mean I'm like eventually maybe they would, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna bet on you this time. And on top of that, I think what's also probably not as talked about is this cup final, right? This cup final, it's another meeting between the two, and it's before their league meeting, and like there, it's like you're trying to go for a trophy, and if Arsenal lose that, what kind of confidence does that put them in? What kind of mood does that put them in? Now the momentum's definitely with City. It's like if City win that cup final, it's like okay, now we know we can beat Arsenal. You know what I mean? Now we know we can beat you, and we're better than you. Now let's go and get that league. You know what I mean? Like it puts so much confidence in the winner, whoever wins this. If Arsenal wins this, it's like finally we've won a trophy. Now we know we can beat City or the second place, our main challengers. Now let's go and get that Premier League we've been wanting for the last 20 years. This is really development in something crazy. This is just the beginning. But it's just down to Arsenal, because I trust City to keep on getting the points. They're getting back healthy again. Obviously, Gay, he's been a massive, massive transfer, and Kusanov is starting to grow into his own. It's like, man, like City are peaking at the right time, even though Holland's not necessarily, scoring at the rate that he was. Like Cherokee's been great. Semenyo's been a massive, massive transfer as well. You know what I mean? Doku's gonna come back. Foden's there still. It's huge. Like Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva's prime right now. It's like he turning back the clock, even though he's been prime for the last 10 years or whatever. But like you know what I mean? This is just cooking up. It's like all the things are putting in like everything is aligning for Manchester City to do something incredible this season. But Arsenal, it's gonna come down. Can they hold on? Can they take on this massive giant Man City that they've been trying to defeat for the last however many years? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But yeah, that this draw is gonna mean quite a lot. I think, in my humble opinion. Until next time, it's been your boy Ollie Footy. We out.